Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Andrea Laing and Justin Miles about Adult Swim Yule Log, which recently dropped on Adult Swim and is available on HBO Max. Thank you both for your time.
Absolutely.
Having us.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, I can't even imagine just looking at the script for this and like being like, where do we go? Like, Andrea, like, can you even prepare yourself to like reading this whole script, being like, how are we gonna put this on camera? Like what is the mindset just reading this thing?
You just go into it and you wake up, you go, you see what the day is going to be like and let it unfold. I mean, the script was crazy, and then it was even wilder.
Yeah, man, we were just passengers, man. Yeah. You know.
Well, I spoke to Casper yesterday, and I literally was like, Casper, like, what did you do?
I think Casper was even a passenger. I think that the script was the vessel, and we were all just in it. And at one point, we were all just like, I mean, it's going. Here we go.
I think this is the perfect example, though, Justin, about like the genre of horror is just evolving. It's one of the most popular genres. I think you look at the amount of content in that realm that horror movie fans and horror TV fans eat up all the time. You want to make it different. You want to make it fresh and everything. And I think you have a movie that does that. So is it cool to be part of like the horror sphere and horror universe, knowing there's a big appetite, but also to be part of a project that like there's not much like this out there right now, Justin?
No, that's true. Yeah, no, it is. God, because it's a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat, but it does it so deftly and well that it doesn't feel like all these hats. You know what I mean? It feels like it's just one hat. You know what I mean?
It's true, because it does feel like, but like adding to that a little bit, Andrea, like, do you notice or like, can you prepare yourself for the many genres? Like, horror is in there, it's bloody, it's got the kind of traditional tropes, but it's funny. And there's even like, we're not going to go into big spoilers, there's like the sci-fi component of it, and like there's the podcast component of it. Like, do you notice all those kind of genres in one when you're reading the script for this?
Reading it and then seeing it unfold are two different things. Because like in your mind, as you're like, even when you're reading a book, like you try to imagine what the setting looks like, or what the characters are going to be like, or what that's how he's going to play that out. So it's like you're reading it, but I didn't know it was going to unfold the way that it did. Yeah, there's so many elements of surprise. I even have to tell friends that have families that want to support me, like that have young fetuses and kids, that they want to watch it. I'm like, listen, I don't want to give anything away. Put your kids away and then watch it, you know?
Let the boy watch. Let the boy watch.
I am going to have nightmares about that log just coming to get me. So I don't know. And I'm at age where I'm able to watch this.
Well, the part where Arvid that's his name, right?
Arvid,
Is that his government name? Arvid, I can't remember. I was creeped out when I saw his reflection. I was just like, oh man, that feels so good. It's so fucked. And I just could only imagine when people for the first time, you know, like how fucking creepy, and how he wanted to come out and do something, but he couldn't. He got stopped. And then, everything just kept happening one after the other, you know?
Nonstop. Justin, I have a scene I want to talk to you about. You could talk, I obviously the movie's out, but I'm not going to go into that much thing, but there is a scene where you might or might not have to consume an odorous food that has a lot of odors and everything. What was that kind of scene like? Because I just can't even imagine. I'm watching this, I'm like, I can't even imagine filming that. Like, how many takes did that take? And like, you're like really like in there with everything. So what was that scene like specifically?
Yeah, dude, we were in it. We were eating it. We were going for it. It was great, man. Torty was awesome. So professional. That's her last name, Clark. Andrea, do you remember her last name? Torty? Yeah. Clark, right? Okay. Yeah, Torty. So good, so professional. Such a beast. It all felt very safe. And you know, I think she and I both agreed because it's a little that kind of, it's a little with the stuff that's going on in the living room and the stuff that's now being reflected with our characters in that room. Like it's that's like the touchiest part of this whole movie. It's kind of a weird thing to talk about. Like, that's a touchy part of really a lot of the horror genres.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, or of the horror genre, like at all. So we wanted to, we didn't want to treat it with kid gloves. We wanted to give it sort of the weight that it deserved. But she was a really good scene partner, and we both agreed, like, hey man, this is icky. This is gross. Let's really lean into how icky and gross.
You did a very good job talking about that without kind of giving context of what happened. Because I always, like, especially with this, I mean, it's tough because it's out. People could watch it now. But, like, I'm walking on eggshells with this interview sometimes because it's like going in fresh and just watching this thing, I think is the best thing to do, to be honest with you. Yeah, like, 100%. Do you agree, Andrea? Like, just watch it. No Absolutely. Context.
It's the only way to go about this, because even when we watched it for the first time at the premiere, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that was so clever. That was so good. That part was, oh, he's so good. Casper, he has it's perfect. Yeah, you really got to go into this thing blind and just let it unfold and just enjoy the ride and then come out and be like, what the fuck? I'm obsessed, What
was both of you, like, familiarity or like Too Many Cooks? Like, did you know about that before signing on to this project specifically?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I remember years ago when it first came onto the scene. I was living in Los Angeles and a buddy texted me the link. Like, it was just, I think it was at 4 a.m., right? Wasn't it an off the air? I believe it started as an off the air.
Yep.
Or that's what it was. That's how it was presented. And then, all of a sudden that broke the internet and everybody's texting everybody about it. And, and I was a fan, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Casper. Like, I love Your Pretty Face.
I knew exactly. I didn't even have to. They said Casper Kelly, and I knew right away. I was like, that's the guy who created Too Many Cooks. Like, I knew right away, right? You don't even have to have the brackets, right, where it says, like, from Too Many Cooks.
Yeah. A bit of a demigod. You know what I mean? A bit of a demigod.
But Andrea, I do want to ask, because, you've worked on other projects as well that's not in the horror genre. Like, you've worked, I believe, on Paramount Plus's The Game. You've been on that show. And what is that? Is it all storytelling for you? Like, whether it's adult, Swim, Yule Log, The Game, like, or is the mindset change of genres, or is it all storytelling for you specifically?
I mean, yeah, you're still dealing with real people that have, like, really crazy outside circumstances happen to them. But one thing that I tried to maintain with the character Zoe is she is this real person. She does have these panic attacks. She is concerned about the world. And she's still a real person. So I wanted to really keep that grounded. And, and anything that I go into, I try to really embody someone that someone could see in themselves in any circumstance.
It's so funny too, Justin, because like both your characters, I mean, the red flags are raised immediately with her, and you're just kind of like, your character is a little like oblivious in the beginning of it, where it's just kind of like, I want to ask her to marry me, and I don't care if, like, we're probably in like a murder scene, a murder house.
Right. And I'm like, back to Zoe, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, are you serious right now? Like,
there's no wasting time with Zoe and the red flag. Like, Zoe knows there's a red flag as soon as Justin, as soon as your character, sorry, what's your character's name in the movie?
Alex.
As soon as Alex like zooms out of the Yule Log video, like we get like a wider shot, right? Zoe's red flag raises immediately in that scene, like even before everything. And then you're just kind of going for the ride, and then might not get abducted by alien.
Well, that's why she gets to be the final girl, man. You know what I mean? That's why. My
favorite part is where he like completely throws me under the bus with our newfound friends.
Yes, 100%.
Cool too. Thanks a lot, Alex.
I just love the confrontation too about like the double booking of the cabin. You're like, I'm gonna call the owner, and I'm also gonna call the owner. It's a race. Little things like that I think were really cool in this movie, Justin, because it's a horror movie and it's creepy. I mean, like how it starts with the cleaning lady and everything. You're just very like, what just happened? But then there's little kind of comedic moments in it that kind of take you away from that a little bit, and you're laughing, you're having a good time, and you're like, oh, now I'm scared again. Do you know what I mean by that, Justin?
Yeah, it really toes the line of horror. I've had a difficult time, not difficult, but like people have asked me, they're like, so Adult Swim made it, but it's just a horror, and I'm like, well, is it horror? Is it a horror comedy? Because it's not exactly like funny. It's just bizarre. So it transcends genres, you know.
It's a genre-bending movie.
Yeah, it's a genre
Absolutely.
bending movie for sure.
It's I would put horror first though. It's a
Oh
horror
yeah, for
movie.
sure, for sure. But I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to figure out if it's a horror comedy. You know what I mean? Because there's always elements of comedy in any horror movie. Like you have to have that. Like not you don't always have to, but you know, by and large, like there are little moments there in any good horror movie that will take some of the relief out. It's maybe like in the first or second act.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
But yeah, it's a really zany genre bending movie.
And there's like multiverses and fireplaces. And it's Andrea, you got Zoe goes into a multiverse. Like,
Yeah, essentially.
Pretty much. But like, and then the whole thing about one of the characters, like he fails the mission, so it's like his character never existed, and then it's like a whole different actor, and she's like, oh man, it was a trip for sure. It's interesting too, Andrew, because you have to be dialed in to watch this, and I feel like you think of a horror and you think of like, oh, Adult Swim Yule Log, like cool, let's put it on, and it's like you can watch it as like a passive audience member, but you can't because you got to put your phones away, because if you're kind of watching it while you're on your phone, you're gonna miss a lot of things. It's not gonna be good.
Everything. So yeah, that have not yet to see it, you go in with the information I don't know how much we've given away, but yeah, put your phone away when you go check it out. Because
I'm definitely gonna do like a deep dive of this edit right now, and I know there's like 4 or 5 things that I asked Justin that I might not put in the final cut of this interview, because I want people to just go in and watch it. But yeah, Justin, there's like a bit where you crushed it in this interview that people might not even see, so I'm sorry. Very quickly before we wrap up, Justin, I mean, what was your favorite thing about working on Adult Swim Yule Log? Like, obviously the people, the collaborative aspect of it, but what was your favorite thing about working on this project?
Straight up, man, I'm not gonna lie. You know, the production itself was fun. Seeing the finished product was fun. It's a fun job. We have a really fun job. The people were great, but I just really love that I actually get to say that I, you know, as a fan of like the Adult Swim franchise, from the jump, like when I was young, you know, I've always wanted to work with Adult Swim and William Street. So to be part of like that whole legacy, that's to me, that's I'm making 13-year-old me very proud.
Absolutely. Andrew, what about you? Best thing about working on this project?
Well, not to copy him or piggyback, but yeah, for the longest time, I've always wanted to work for Adult Swim. So it's cool to be a part of that family. But more than anything else, it's just really great to work with a director like Casper Kelly. He allows you to be yourself. He's open to suggestions. You can improvise. Just having that flexibility and having fun. The more fun you have, you can add to the story, add to the character. It was just really great to be a part of something so fucking bizarre.
Absolutely. And people are going to be able to watch it. It's streaming on HBO Max, which is amazing. Andrea, Justin, so great chatting with both of you. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you, Petey. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Very quickly, Instagram handles. I lied to you, Andrea. You have a better handle than Justin. So what is your Instagram handle?
To me. Okay, so it's your favorite Andrea, spelled out because I'm 7 years old. So your favorite Andrea.
On the moment we've all been waiting for. Justin, what is your Instagram handle?
At Justin Kilometers.
Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Andrea, Justin, and Petey Beats signing off. Petey Beats here from Popternative. We do Casper Kelly about Adult Swim Yule Log, recently premiered as a treat on Adult Swim, but now it's also available on HBO Max. Welcome to the show. It's an honor and privilege to speak with you, Casper. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Casper, this film, what did you do? Like, what the hell did you do, Casper?
I don't know. I don't know if I have a good answer. I just tried some things. I don't know. Is that a good reaction or what?
It's an amazing reaction, but it's just good. Like, no, it was clear the air. Like, what did you do in a great way?
Okay.
No, I love this. I mean, my first question to you when I got this interview confirmed is, you know, even when you saw the little kind of vignettes and like little things about what, because this was a real big treat and surprise for a lot of horror movie fans. And this is the best part about that. But when you're watching it, you really don't know what to expect. But the first thing you know is, wow, this is such a unique concept. So like, was that something you in mind with this project where you're like, there's so much horror stuff out there. How can we make it a little different? Like, was that something that came to mind as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you try to do stuff that is new, and also just, I don't know, like, it's my first movie. So
yeah.
My system is I throw in as many ideas as I have.
Yeah.
I'm not going to save any ideas for I'll throw them in now if I can.
Oh, absolutely. But it's one of those things too, where the movie does an amazing job of, it's got, the traditional amazing horror elements and tropes, and it's got some humor in it and everything. And I think that was a really important thing, correct me if I'm wrong, with this, right? Where you really wanted it to be funny and you really want it to be like scary at times. But there are a lot of like what just happened moments in this film. Like, I'm not going to go into them a lot in spoilers, but like, what was the mindset for those moments where you wanted to take the audience on like a ride where it might, like, the car might go another direction at times?
Yeah, I think it was that I really just wanted to experiment and wanted to try to take some risks. And it was scary because it is a little feeling of, is this going to work as a flavor combination? Like adding, wasabi to peanut butter. Is this going to work? So, or is it going to taste good? You know what I mean? Like, so luckily it sounds like people went with it.
Is it really cool to think about the fact that there's an evergreen component to Adult Swim Yule Log in a lot of ways, where you can easily watch this around the holidays, but you can easily watch this at my favorite time of year of spooky season, right, in October, where you put on. Is that something you think about too? Because there is an evergreen component with this, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right, because the Yule Log starts coming out in fall. You want to get cozy. I'm thinking about it now. I love that. I hope people do watch it again. That's exciting.
Horror has just become such an amazing, incredible communal thing, right? Where we talk about our favorite movies, we plan the marathons. Like, it's pretty exciting to think that this film, and I truly believe it will, and I'll do my best as a media outlet to get that out there and recommend, but like, it's in the mix for like marathons and everything. Like, it's cool to think about.
Absolutely. And the horror community is so awesome, both the fans and the people that make it. I love it. So it's so fun to now be part of that.
When you were doing Too Many Cooks, I'm sure there was a lot of like you said for this, there were some experimentals, there was some what's going to work, you're going to see if it sticks and everything. But when we were kind of talking to people about this and people were saying, oh, it's Casper Kelly from Too Many Cooks. Like, that's a really cool thing too, right? Where there's kind of like this cross promotion of your past work that kind of leads to the others. I don't think that's something we think about a lot, but it's almost like another kind of way of like promotion, pretty much. Just the fact that like your past work is something that people are familiar with, which I find interesting.
Yeah, it's thrilling. It is thrilling. Yeah, and people will find a through line to what I do that I'm not aware of, and I'll go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm assuming the traditional kind of casting, audition and everything, but I just have to ask. I mean, if the answer is, yeah, they auditioned, like, how did this cast come to be specifically for Adult Swim Yule Log?
Yes, there's a casting agency we use that we used on Your Pretty Face, Big Picture Casting. But then I'll throw an extra tidbit there is this theater group called Vernal and Sear that do very experimental theater here in Atlanta. And I just love their work so much. I wanted to find a little place for them. So they are the people holding the beach ball. And then later they're the sex bots in the future. Yeah. It was a thrill to get to use them because I just am such a fan of their work.
Okay, though that's amazing. So, okay, great. So see how I set that up though? And I was like, this might be a traditional kind of business answer. Yeah, we did casting with a casting director, but I just wanted to know because maybe you always get those little tidbits here and there. So I was hoping, okay, so not super big spoilers, but I'm just warning people, there's something that could be a spoiler that I'm about to talk about right now. So spoiler alert, maybe. There was something in this movie that I just can't stop thinking about, to the point where I don't even know, maybe I missed it, or maybe I'm not even conveying it properly, that I'd like to share with you. And it's part of when certain characters are having kind of transportations into the Yule log, so to speak. There seemed to be like a actor change up, kind of, right? A little bit, like, or like at one point I'm watching it and all of a sudden there's like a different actor in the movie. Like there's a different actor, right? There's the guy who's like was that, I mean, I feel like, did I miss something there? Or was that like, I don't know. Like, I wanted to know if you're allowed to talk about that specifically.
Yes.
But is there anything else I'm missing, or you just wanted to change the actors? Like, I'm just curious.
No. It was that guy, the previous actor, that character,
yes,
no longer exists, was never born. So she is still going on that trip, and she has a different boyfriend because she never met him.
So I did, yeah, okay. Because you made me think about this the whole night, basically, which is awesome, and I can't wait for people to see it. You blend a lot of things in this. You talk about, even with the casting directors, the aliens, the sci-fi component. You also were able to blend a lot of current trends where, you know, YouTube videos are huge. Like, we're on YouTube all the time and everything, podcasting and everything. I love that. Was that kind of the talks as well with like everyone who made it, to make this current as you could as well, with kind of some trends specifically?
I really just, I know this is not a super satisfying answer, but I just wrote it intuitively, like just, and I love podcasts. So I walk around in the morning making coffee with my phone in my shirt pocket, listening to podcasts that drive my teenage daughters crazy with why don't use headphones. But so I just put in things I like.
Well, it's funny because Popternative now is a full media outlet, right? But it really started in 2015 as a podcast. Like, I was just talking to industry experts and just shooting the breeze, so to speak. Do you feel like that happens with a lot of your projects, where you have kind of like a notion of what it's going to be, and then it just kind of gets a mind of its own and just naturally kind of changes a little bit? I feel like with Too Many Cooks, right? You're just kind of putting this thing together, and then it became this huge kind of phenomenon in a lot of ways, where a lot of my friends loved it. You know what I mean?
Well, also, Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell was a short with different characters. But just in the course of making that, we decided to develop a show out of it. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which I find really interesting. A couple more questions before we wrap up. I mean, I feel like, you know, with this film, you said it was your first film and everything. What is the mindset when you wrap this, Casper? Is it kind of like, wow, this was, you know, rewarding and challenging in a lot of ways, but I need a break or anything? Or was it kind of like, all right, I'm ready to make another movie? Like, what was the mindset when you wrapped Adult Swim Yule Log?
I think the mindset was stress and relief. Like, oh, we did it in time, because it was very to the wire. Like, we had to rush. We had to get, what am I trying to say? You have to deliver it to HBO Max a little earlier so they have time to encode it and so forth. And I think we were a little late getting that to them. So it was very last minute. So relief, that stress about how people will like it. And yes, excitement that I finally did one, and excitement that I want to make more. And
I'm excited to hear that you want to make more, because I am in. We don't even know what it's going to be probably, but I'm in for the next Casper Kelly horror film. Casper, it was so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Have a great holiday.
Yeah, you too. It's streaming on HBO Max, so they could check that out. And like I said,
all you can buy it on. I think you can buy it on like Google Play, Amazon, stuff like that too.
Absolutely. This has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popturn for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Casper Kelly about Adult Swim Yule Log and PD Beats signing off. Happy holidays.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.